Hello and welcome back to my International Women's Day, where I have spoken to lots of women about their experience and expertise. So this is the only video that I haven't pre-filmed. I'm filming this on Sunday the 7th. International Women's Day is tomorrow. I need to put up the last episode today with Sophia. I hope you enjoyed that one. I just want to say thank you. This series has been so much work over the last few months, but it's also been so amazing to talk to so many women and sort of get some reassurance that we're all going through really similar things, but also just to kind of confirm and reiterate how important it is that as women we lift each other up. I know a lot of my followers are women, and quite often, and it's something that I've said consistently throughout the series and that so many of my guests have said as well, is it's really hard to make sure that we are supporting other women as we try and better ourselves and improve ourselves and get where we want to go. Something that Sophia said on yesterday's episode was feminism has become synonymous with white feminism. So it's really important that we are just inclusive when we're talking about feminism, when we're talking about International Women's Day, that we do make sure we include everybody. And speaking of including everybody, I would just want to thank everybody who's been on the episode so far. We have my mum, who was a bit nervous to come on, but she was absolutely brilliant, and I really love chatting to her because we mention these things like quite often on our daily catch-ups, but it's different to kind of sit down and sort of dedicate some time to talk about it, so that was absolutely amazing. Then of course we had Rachel, who is so knowledgeable about all things Victorian and historical, but it was really interesting to see a little bit about how those constraints still affect us today and how that still affects how we interact with each other, with other genders. It was amazing to have her on, and if you haven't read her book, please make sure that you do. Mineksha was also amazing. I didn't realise that she had done so many different things to get to where she is now. And as a woman in IT, and that's the area of my research, that's what I spend a lot of my time looking at and learning about and investigating. It was really interesting to talk to her about how she'd got into IT kind of through a completely different route, and all the different things that she'd done. So another amazing guest. On episode 4, on World Book Day, we had Francesca, which was also the day that her book came out, Alonement, and we also did a live that evening talking about her new book. But I thought something that was really interesting was this kind of idea that we have that women can't spend time alone, and what she's doing to break that down I think is absolutely amazing. So thank you, Francesca, for coming on the series. It was really important to me that we had lots of different perspectives on the series, and that's why I was so happy to have Deborah on, who is a guest on my podcast. She's such an advocate for young people using their voices, and especially when it comes to equality, and especially gender equality. She does so much for women and Gen Z. So yeah, she was a great guest to have on, and if you haven't listened to her podcast, please make sure that you do. On episode 6, we had Lucy, who is an artist development coach, who's also offered to give a couple of people some free coaching sessions, so make sure you check out the description in that video if you're an artist. But it was really interesting, again, as a woman in music. I do music as well as reading books, but it was really great to chat to her about her experience in the music industry, how that correlates to my experience. But it was really interesting to get a different perspective from a woman in the arts and talk to her all about how that affects what she does. And then finally, on the 7th episode, we had the wonderful Sophia, who doesn't do research into gender equality, but she is such an advocate of equality when it comes to race, religion, and she's written so many academic papers on that, and they're all in such an accessible format. So if you do have the time, and if you don't make the time, go and read them, because they really opened my eyes up, and I'm so grateful for her for making the time to come on the series. So that is the International Women's Day series. Just a couple of other people I want to thank. I want to thank Marianne, who I'll make sure her links are in the description, who created the stop motion intro that we have. She's so talented and she does lots of wonderful art, so make sure you check her out. And Kaylin as well, for making the jingle to go alongside that. It's so important that we have these amazing men in our lives as well who support what we do, so thank you to both of you. So happy International Women's Day. I hope you see lots of amazing things coming out today. I hope you share the series if it's inspired you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. It's been great. So thanks. Bye.